house, and she said that she could hear it clawing at the window, but there was nobody there or nothing like that.
That scared shit out of me, because when I was a kid, I used to have this one story, and it didn't matter. It scared the shit out of me. I read it all the time. It was R.L. Stein. It was just about this dog came back to life. Well, when the dog came back, the dog wasn't right. It was like Pet Sematary.
Pet Sematary, yeah.
But it wasn't Pet Sematary. It was like a child version, and that dog was mean as shit. It always scares me.
Well, I'm glad we can talk about these fears with you.
You can't see where they're coming. They can bite you and claw your face.
Oh, God, yeah. Whoa. Okay, anyway. The next one is, they used to have this big dog. He was a big old, I don't know, like a St. Bernard or something like that. And he had his own way in through, like, the laundry room, like one of the doors cut out. And they said they knew because he had to kind of stoop down, so he would, like, scrub through, and then he would flop down on the floor. And after he passed, they could still hear him come through, sit down, flop down on the floor. I always knew it was him. There's been numerous cases of, like, the dog would come lay beside the guy had a wife, and, every night they could see the dog lay down beside him when they were sleeping on the ground. Yeah. I'm talking about, these aren't just one or two. I'm talking about these are a lot. They just, they can hear that he would be, like, panting, but that was the other one. Check this out. So the one who, laid down, and he would, like, he had a distinct, like, whine and stuff like that when he would lay down, hit the ground, because he was a bigger dog, and they could hear him. Their son got really sick and went to the hospital. And they knew that dog was around, because not only could they hear him come in at nighttime, and come down on the ground and stuff, but when his son was really, really sick in the hospital, he would be petting something beside the bed. And they were like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm petting the dog." And to him, the dog was there. And
was he like deathly ill?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Did the son get better?
Yeah, the son did get better.
And he stopped seeing the dog?
Yeah. But supposedly the dog was coming to visit him in that hospital, too. Which is kind of crazy. I mean, I don't know what...
I can see that because the veil.
Yeah. We've often thought that. If you're sicker, then it seems like the veil thins and you can, like, interact more. But that's just ours, This was a kind of cool little story that I picked up. Was about this guy who lost his dog and really, really wanted to talk to his dog. So he went to a psychic. But he wanted to make sure he didn't let the psychic know about his dog. He wanted the psychic to know what he needed to talk to about.
I do that all the time. Them damn psychics.
No, Lord.
Tell me stop eating salt and I'm a shaman. What the hell?
Yeah. I'm a shifter, man. I'm a shifter. Anyway, I love that term. That should be Misty the Shifter. That's what I call him.
That's what shit.
Anyway, so what happened here is they went and the guy sat down with this psychic, and he didn't even know if he could actually talk to animals. This is the thing. The guy was kind of putting the psychic to the test. Well, of course, this friend who just passed away came through, and he talked to him, and then there was this other friend that came through. This friend was like 5 years ago had committed suicide. And he did not let anybody... And the friends start talking about... That was coming through with the psychic... Start talking about these dark periods that they had. And the guy that's really registered with him... Because the friend had took him aside before they had died... And said, I have these really dark periods and stuff. So this guy... The psychic is telling him about this... And that they committed suicide. I don't think a lot of people knew this. Then all of a sudden... The psychic says, now listen... This person that had a dark side to them... wants to bring your dog through, and starts talking to him about this dog and stuff like that, and all about it, and this, that, and the other. And the guy kind of got a little scared, though, because he didn't want his dog to be in the after,
the bed.
Yeah, with the one that's going to commit suicide. And the person said, no, the dog is where it needs to be, but I just wanted to let you know that this person said that the dog's there too, because they said the person that killed themselves was not an animal person either, so he didn't want that dog. This is weird to be thinking of it like that, but they were like, no, the person wanted to make sure on the other side, connecting with the medium, that no, she didn't have the dog, but the dog was where it needed to be. So that was kind of cool. So
I don't know, I like to think of animals, yeah, they look like animals in the afterlife maybe, but it's kind of like that God, what is that author that you really like and your husband really likes?
Oh, shit. I know who you're talking about.
But it was a dog. It was an alien version anyways. It was a dog, but it was really a person. Kind of like the Scooby-Doo idea. It looks like a dog, but in the afterlife, they turn kind of like into people. They can communicate through...
I know who you're talking about, because he writes a lot about his golden retriever and stuff. Yeah. It's not Clive Barker. It's gosh, I can't remember his name. It's right on the tip of my tongue, but I know who you're talking about.
I like to think of it like that. Not necessarily them being like a language barrier anymore.
Oh, yeah, I think that too. Because if you think about it with spirits, we don't know what's communicating with us, but sometimes we just get these notions and we're like, okay, we've got to say this. Well, who says that? And that's also been, EVPs and stuff like that you get that are in another language. But then how do they communicate sometimes and know things that they shouldn't know? There's no barriers there, I think. But that's just my opinion. I don't know. Okay. This is really cool. We're going to talk about other animals. Of course, there's cats, and we all know that shit, and dogs and stuff like that. But there's this one dog, and he is owned, well, he was at the time. He was a chocolate Labrador, and this is actually, what happened is, this is over in Britain, so I'm not for sure about these locations very much, but I'm just going to tell you. There is, it's actually the airfield in Lincolnshire, where there was a dam burst. The squadron famously attacked the Mahone and the Eber dams in 1943. Okay, now what happened was there's this guy, and his name was Guy Gibson, and he had this dog, and it was a chocolate brown Labrador. And the dog would stay with him. Well, the dog was killed the day before, actually, that the raid happened. But they say that they could still hear the dog growling in Gibson's former office, the Guy Gibson, the guy who owned him. And the brown Labrador showed up in a photo taken of some school children at the memorial to the dam busters in 1987. Now, if you look at this picture, which is really, really cool, guys, it does show a dog in between these two groups of kids. And it's supposed to be the memorial. Now, this all happened... The dog actually happened, he was around in 1943. And this picture was taken in 1987. So I think the dog's still hanging around, which is kind of cool. We can actually post that up there on Facebook for you, so you can take a look if you'd like. Another thing is some of the other stuff. This happened 500 years ago, dude. This was unfortunate. It happened at Manor Hall in the Oxenby near Bristol. It's a cat and a kid. It's thought that the cat actually belonged to a boy who lived there nearly 500 years ago. The parents died of the boy, and the boy was taken into custody by a cruel guardian. And the guardian would make the kid watch as he would mutilate the cat. It was really bad. He messed that cat up. And he made the kid watch. And then eventually he killed the kid. And then, of course, the guy was, I think he was hanged for the murder of the kid. But they say that the ghost that they see is actually it's a ghastly appearance of a maimed and bleeding cat. Yeah, they say they still see that. Also, the kid, I think, still haunts it. So something that the people did there now is they erected like this little statue of the kid, because I think they're still living at that place. There's people that inhabit it, and then they put up like a little, like a shrine to the cat, or a little scribe of the cat, or something like that. They said they still were around. They still see that mangled ass cat and shit like that. But then they said that it was tore down, the building, and then it went away. But they would still see that cat just manging around and stuff. That's horrible.
I don't want to think they look bad in the end, like afterwards. But there is the one, everybody's seen that damn story. It had Richard Gere in it, I think, where the dog kept on coming back to the bus stop.
Oh, Jesus, just kill me.
Then there's another one where there was a tombstone of a dog, and you can see the dog. It was put there because I think of a little girl. And they put the tombstone of this big St. Bernard black dog that she used to love or something like that. And the dog's, the tomb or whatever it is, the statue, sometimes is seen move.
Oh, yeah. Another thing that was kind of cool that I thought was cool is about your damn monkeys, actually. There was this one. It's in, Athill Hampton Hall in Dorset. It said that there was a lady there that fell in love with a guy. The guy gave the lady a monkey because he did a lot of travels. So he gave her this monkey. And what they did was then the guy broke up with her. Poor lady. And desperate, she was all crying and stuff like that. But she still had her little monkey. And there was apparently this hallway she can go down to, or like this closet area. And I guess they got shut up in there, and the monkey followed her in there. I guess she was on death's door. I guess she wanted to commit suicide or something like that. When they pulled, because they heard scratching and stuff like that from behind the door.
She took the monkey with her?
She didn't mean to. The monkey followed her in there. She didn't mean to take the monkey in there. They found the corpse of her and the monkey both dead in there together. I guess the monkey followed her in to like console her, and I don't know how she ended. They think that either it was just they died.
Took that monkey with her.
Either they died of hunger.
Get
or
on in here, Clyde.
They didn't have air. I guess it must have been stone or something like that.
It could have been like, is it a car exhaust?
Damn it! It's in the house. It's like it's.
If the garage is
suffocated
inside.
to death. Were both found. No. It's like a castle. It's like an old castle, dude.
Come on, Clyde. I'm done. Take that big ass hairy orangutan.
Yeah, it's in a secret staircase behind a long gallery. So it was like hidden back in there, and the monkey like went behind there with her and stuff. It's kind of sad, but they still say to this day you can hear them scratching and stuff like that behind it, the monkey and stuff. Yeah, that's kind of freaky, isn't it? Ugh.
Monkeys are scary. They will eat your face off.
I know, man. That's kind of scary
I
to
used
me.
to love monkeys, but damn it, they will. They'll eat your damn...
Monkey.
I've done research, and there is actually baboons if they find you, territorial, and if they see your child in a thing, then it'll take the human baby out of the village and kill it.
Yeah, because they believe it's like territory. Like that's another. Yeah, that's
because they only the male will have relations with all the ladies, and if another male does that and they smell that it's a different type monkey, then they'll kill it. By eating their skull.
I got it. Let's stop. I watched that show with you. God.
It was bad. Monkeys don't get no damn monkey.
That's why I don't like animal people. You can't even get rid of them in an afterlife. Jesus. Anyway. Okay, and my last story with this, and we're going to talk about spirit animals in a minute, is bears. There's some wild bears out there.
Oh, God.
Along with many human ghosts, the specter
What's that one with that big red hair?
I don't know. Anyway, let me finish my story.
The Disney movie.
I don't know.
Is that what you're going with?
No. Anyway, the specter of a bear is said to haunt the Tower of London. Once home to a mundarade of animals, included several bears. In 1816, a sentry was horrified to find a bear coming out of the jewel room. Man, if I'm guarding something and there's a jewel room, apparently there's jewels in there, and a big damn bear walks out, that scares the shit out of me. They said that he lunged at the bear with his bayonet, but the weapon went straight through it and the bear vanished. The sentry collapsed in shock and died a few days later because I guess he had a heart attack.
Is it a bad omen or something?
I ain't had a heart attack. It scared the shit out of him.
3 days later.
Because a few days later, yeah.
Well, my thing is, why they got all them bears there? And was he nice
I think
to the
it
bear?
was dude, they didn't interact with him. This is a spirit bear. They
I know,
had a bunch of animals there before, apparently.
I know. So
and
were
bears
they
were
friends with the bears? Is that why the bears stayed?
Apparently he likes the jewels. I don't know, actually. Let's go talk to him. I don't know. I don't know. They just say that they're there, that they could see, the spirit. So, I guess
Is that area still there with that bear?
It's the Tower of London.
How many other people have seen that bear?
I don't know. Enough to write a story about it.
Just that one fella?
He died, Ashley. He died. He died for the purpose of the bear, okay? Anyway, another phenomenon that a lot of people have talked about is the omen of the black dog. That kind of, yeah. They say, like, truck drivers say stuff about it. If you see a black dog, I think they've done movies about it. It's an omen that if you see a black dog, then it's a bad omen. Death, stuff like that will follow.
Those are the ones, the black animals are the ones that don't get adopted as much because you can't see their facial features. So they don't see them as kind. They're more muted out type thing. Should I go on and adopt you a dog or cat after listening to this show?
Not if you're going to do evil things to it, though, because around Halloween they do have an abundance of it because they want to do crazy stuff. But anyway, they say, okay, another thing I want to throw out there to you is during a lot of places that, this is kind of a sad story, this guy, he was captured by some army people, his enemies. I don't know who they were, but whatever. And they said,
story sounds so
yeah, I know. It was over in England, so I'm not really for sure about all that crap, but I do know that they captured him. And they said, you can have your freedom if you can outrun a horse. And his sweetheart was there, apparently, watching. And he ran like a greased lightning. He actually beat the horse, they said. And then they shot him anyway. So they say every night you can hear her sobbing you can hear him running, and you can hear the horse galloping. That happens a lot. You have a lot of horses on like battlefields and stuff. You hear all kinds of stuff.